Testing. Hello. Hello, ladies and gents. Yeah, no, don't buy Guinness. Screw 'em. Good to see you've kept yourselves amused by attempting to, complete the Latin alphabet, but missed a few things here and there. You missed a D, missed an N. Niall has been sabotaging the whole thing, by the looks of it. I see. Alright. So, we had a lot of people waiting there for the stream. Apparently, you put Blackheart and Petric in the title, and everybody wants to show up. That's a good sign. So, how are y'all doing? What's up, Dan, Andrew, Servet, Joshua, Niall, Kurtza, J Steel. I see. Need something to watch while reclaiming chicken. Okay. What's up, Pablo? Greetings. What's up, Oscar, Adam? Loads of people waiting for some gameplay. Daily. Kind of daily. It is white, but no, we don't offer free candy. Z, there we go. Thank you, Hasu. Thank you very much. Tried cooking Schweinshaxe. No idea. BH actually playing, or are you just trolling in the title? I'm not trolling. No trolling here. We do have a 7-game series between Petric and Blackheart. Yes, congratulations everyone for completing the alphabet, more or less. You did enough there. We'll give it to you. Right, let's not wait any longer, I guess. Let's just start. And we'll open the first game. So, this is a show match, as it says, for $100. Now, it's split because it's a show match. It's not a best of 7, first of all. It's a 7-game series. So all 7 games will be played. Now, the settings are... Let's just slow it down and explain. Niall, unfortunately I've forgotten which we actually are supposed to say. But, probably Z. Anyway. 7-game series, right? Now we're playing all the maps, are map generator maps. And there will be some 5x5, some 10x10, and some 20x20. And they'll be using the Unexplored setting. So as you can see, when the players spawn in, they only see what is directly around them. When they place this factory, I believe it reveals some additional amount of space ahead of them. When will the Shadow of Fog of War, I guess you mean, will be made a bit better? I don't know. I believe there's some kind of performance concern, but hopefully it can be improved. But for now, it's quite good, especially on 5x5. So here we go. We have Blackheart and Petric, and they have a lot of mass in their base. This is a 5x5 map. And let's see. So also the $100 will be split 6 for 60 for the winner, 40 for the loser. So it is a, you know, a show match really made to show off the map generator, show off these kind of settings, and also see some of the best players in FAF history playing. So Petric makes, he's gonna make 4 mass extractors and then the hydro. If you make the 5th one before the hydro, you will stall power. And yeah, Blackheart goes for only 3 mexes and then a hydrocarbon. This will enable him to make his second air factory faster. Bit of chat. POV, you enter a retirement home and see 2 wheelchaired senile old men drop on the ground and wrestle. This is Petric's view of himself and Blackheart at this stage in their careers. So if you go to their view, we can see what Blackheart sees. Actually, yeah. So this view, I guess, is not really accurate, because Petric cannot see this in the actual game. So that's a small issue observing wise. So let's see. You can see land scouts going out early on. We see an early mantis, and yeah, people are just, you know, they have to invest in tanks, they have to invest in scouts, and just start exploring the map, finding where the mass extractors are. So now we can see that there's some mass extractors here on the right hand side, some more here, and every map is symmetrical on the Mapgen. Did I watch this yesterday? I saw some of it. I wasn't watching intently, and I don't think I even saw this game. So bomber from Blackheart, he has found an engineer with his mantis, and the engineer will go down. Nice bit of reclaim in this area. Scout goes ahead, and the bomber moving in. Anti-air already out for Petric, but not quick enough to... Oh wow, he lost the tank and saved the engineer, which is quite interesting. That's decent damage, and actually the bomber survives on 5 HP, so he can save that, maybe get another drop or 2. Blackheart gets his second land factory up now, only now, while Petric has 4 land factories. So the ACUs meet in the middle, and they're just going to shoot at each other for a while. Blackheart takes this mex and gets a nice radar. This radar is going to give him coverage of most of the map here, which is really nice. He does lose an engineer in this position. How's radar? Radar does not reveal the fog of war, as far as I know. So now we can see most of the map is scouted, at least between the two of them. They've scouted almost all the map. However, what they specifically know about is not exactly clear. Blackheart with 9 mass extractors, 4 more that really should be his available. Petric has 11 and 2 more available to him, so Blackheart slightly behind in mexes at the moment. And he's gonna do some attack moves to get the trees and get the rocks on the other side eventually. Chris, I don't think that's the case anymore. You're saying that, yeah, when one player scouts a mex point, the other player sees it. I think they have a mod enabled in this game. I'm not sure, but I think that's not the case in this particular show match, but I could be wrong on that. What's up, Golbez? I hear another bomber, but it may have been shot down. Anti-air with 130 mass killed. Blackheart pressuring Petric with his ACU. quite far forward, getting a tank kill here. He's going to kill that factory before it's finished, and also he'll take out this mech shortly. Unless the ACU gets into range. And overall, Petric really has better map control. He has more energy income, it seems. Yeah, 100 more energy income. Blackheart really in a tough position at the moment by the looks of it. 19 Mantis versus 20 Thams. The Thams are even, but there are 2 bombers from Blackheart. Now, what's he going to bomb with them? Looks like he's just trying to fly away from this anti-air, and saves both bombers. He actually has 3 bombers out now, and still no air. Oh, there is an air factory from Petric. What's up, Scoot? It is the first game. And these are some good fights happening all over the field for Blackheart. Getting bombs in. He got a decent fight up here, and on the right hand side also got a decent bit of. Ooh, that's a ditch rock right there. That's a juicy one. And Blackheart is in the middle, and he's about to be surrounded by many units. Bomber goes down. Blackheart continues focusing the ACU, and Petri is under 3000 HP, so this looks like it's going to turn into a draw in a few moments. And yeah, Petri control Ks, and the draw is complete at the very end there. Well, I mean, the game was still in terms of total mass, Petric was actually quite far ahead. 2000 mass ahead. I mean, the map presence looked quite equal. The armies weren't too different. And, you know, overall the position on the map seemed relatively equal, although the total mass is very, very different. So, in the end, Blackheart just takes the draw. And we'll see another 5x5 now. But interesting to see the openings there. We can examine them a little bit more closely. In game number 2. Now, I think game number 2, I think this will be basically a new... It'll be a new map, but it'll still be basically counted as game number 1. Unless I'm incorrect. What's up, Baron? Yeah, he hasn't been playing very often. Okay, so... Once again, we have quite a lot of mass right next to the ACU, and we have a hydrocarbon, so a lot of resources in the opening. Not much reclaim. Those are trees. Are there tree groups? I'm not sure. Oh, did I open the wrong game here? No, I didn't. This is 5x5. They're going to just figure out what they're supposed to be playing. So we can see Petric going for first. Well, he has no units other than engineers queued up right now, whereas Blackheart has already gone for 2 land scouts, and he's going to start scouting the rest of the map. And he's going to go for 3 engineers before his first tank. They're most likely tree groups. Okay. Fair enough. Trees looking good in the void. Yeah, so you can see what Blackheart's doing. He's just searching for mexes in the corner, so he's found this. This is key information, and he knows that that's going to be mirrored on the other side, so this scout will see it shortly. He's going to scout the back of Petric's base. He's going to get stuck here. That's a weird crater, but yeah, this will also reveal reclaim that he can go for. He might have gotten it with this engineer already. And Petric is, or Blackheart's gone second air again, same as last time. Scouts the expansion on the left, and there's actually quite a lot of mass on the sides here. So difficult choice for the ACU, because if you move to the side, well, it's difficult to commit to sending your ACU to the side, but I guess in this map it's gonna be possible. And we can see Bomber gets 2 kills immediately in the middle of the map and comes into the base, drops on the P-gens, and we'll get another pass on the P-gens. Might be able to kill one. The second one has too much HP to go down, I believe. 2 anti-air come out, and actually goes for an engineer on the second pass and drops from the sky in front of the ACU. Petric doesn't want the mass and walks away. Blackheart already on his way to this 3-mex expansion. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Hello. Bit of a dividend land, and also faction-wise, we have Aeon versus Cybran. Usually Aeon is the favorite faction on any 5x5. The mid-terrain might pose some problems, but the sides is where most of the action is going to be, and there are some hills, as we can see here. They're quite minor. Shouldn't pose too much trouble for the arc of the Aurora shot. Nice fight for Petric there. And overall, well, Petric is the one chasing Blackheart's ACU, so Blackheart comes in, kills the engineer, kills the mechs that the engineer has built, and exits. He could even grab this this rock. That would be pretty decent, but instead he's gonna retreat. He's also expanded. You can see, sent his engineers in this direction. The engineer in this direction has gone down, but he's gonna protect these guys and protect what they've built as well with his commander. And Petric's gonna walk over here, take the mass, and retake these mechs. As you can see, a scout flying overhead to see exactly where the ACU is. Blackheart with 4.5 land factories versus 5 land factories, and Petric has an air factory as well now. I don't think we've seen a bomber from Petric. And the only little chunk of land left undiscovered is here. You can see up here, there's not much there. Some kind of cliff. Blackheart moves back to the middle and gets a PD up to defend the right hand side. That will be scouted by Petric, but he doesn't have any way to actually kill these engineers at the moment. And now a bomber comes in and will aim for this Engie, who begins dodging. And the bomber also is under attack from behind from that Inti. A perfect dodge executed by the Engie, and the PD finishes in the perfect moment to deter the ACU from walking any further in. Otherwise, this ACU could have killed potentially all 4 mexes. At this point, he could kill, well, he will kill 2 of them, but 2 more will be defended as Blackheart walks and puts major pressure on the base of Petric. And this is, oh, and it even bombs a fervor with his bomber. Bomber goes down now. And Blackheart, oh, look at how annoying it is to have to chase those mantis into the corner. There we go. The mantis get found and killed, but that's a lot of Aurora sent into the corner to kill those. Fervor takes out the land scout, and Blackheart is looking to just continue to do damage. He's gotten a lot more damage done with his commander than Petric has. Blackheart heading towards his first veterancy. Has just been farming kills on engineers, some mexes, and plenty of Aurora, which is exactly what you want. And now he's going to retreat away, as a lot of Aurora have come out of the base since he's arrived there. So it's time to retreat. Aurora do outrange the ACU, so he has to be quite careful. He has plenty of units nearby, And he begins raiding. That was actually a reclaim order on that Mantis, which is quite a quick reaction from Petric to get one of the Mantis out of there. Blackheart takes out the radar, the best target available to him with only a single Mantis. It's 80 mass, and it gives the Mantis a veterancy in only 2 shots, so that's pretty good. Air is paused for Blackheart now. And Blackheart continues retreating and still is looking for that first veterancy. Still much closer to it than Petric, and the really good attacks on the left hand side. You can see the value of having the PDs on the other side. He's really investing most of his tanks to first defend the ACU, who's lost a decent chunk of HP, and also then to just attack on the left. Another PD here as well. It just slows the attack down enough for you to get the reinforcements you need. And of course you have Mantis, their quick T1 tank, and you have, you have time because, it's only 5x5, so you always have time to reinforce those positions if you can slow down the attack. And neither player is really going to get a major advantage in units, because their micro is likely to be pretty on point. PD going down, you can see it takes time, even when you do have the right unit to do it, and a Fervor is a fantastic unit for killing PDs. There goes 2 PDs, and as I say, the Mantis are here, ready to defend and even ready to attack, and the Aurora are being pulled left and right, and ultimately not successful in defending these expansions. So they may take favorable trades in the end, but the expansion is dead here, and there's no expansion on the left really for Petric either. This mech lives for now. Mantis getting debated by an unbuilt PD, but now that mech goes down, and Petric really is just chasing ghosts here. He has 45 Aurora versus 40 Mantis, but the 40 Mantis are doing a fantastic job. You can see in the end, once there's a straight up fight, the Aurora are superior. This hill providing some challenge for them, but ultimately the Mantis are demolished. But before they get demolished, they are controlling a lot of space, and there's a lot of reclaim here, but again, it takes time to gather that, as it takes time to generate mass from mexes. So unless you actually have those, unless you have plenty of engineers taking that, which also costs, time to build and mass and energy to build, then is that reclaim useful to you in the short term? Maybe not. And certainly not if the Mantis continue running over your position. Look at the Mantis hordes just swarming forward. And Petric is making a gun upgrade. I'm not sure which one at the moment. Probably range gun. He does have the cheaper gun upgrades, being the Aeon player. So let's see what he gets here. As meanwhile, Blackheart just walks away, and yeah, that's the range upgrade. And Blackheart just begins doing damage elsewhere. You can see Mantis over here in behind the base. There goes a P-Gen. Mechs dying at the back, and again Aurora are dispatched and will ultimately kill the Mantis after some chasing. But the Mantis are just pulling the Aurora in every direction. There goes another Mex. And there's even some flares mixed in, actually. You can see some flares here. Not sure if those are intentionally built or some kind of misclick. We'll see. Engineer goes down. And again, Mantis just running everywhere. And now that Petric has been without, especially this expansion, for so long, he is going to run lower on tanks. He's down to 30 tanks now versus 56. So Blackheart has really increased his advantage in, or really created an advantage in numbers now by, well, of course, having more of the map using PDs to defend We haven't seen PDs. We never saw PDs really go up for Petric. We never saw any Medusa from Blackheart because never needed to take out PDs, and Petric is going to try and use his range gun. And, well, he will use this range gun to try and do some additional damage, but it still has the same DPS. Still has 100 DPS, although it does have an extreme amount of range. So, is he already too far behind for this to really matter? It seems so, considering he's losing mexes in his core base here at the back of his core base. Blackheart presses continuously and gets engineers in good positions to take more and more of the map, and also replace PDs that have been lost in the past. If we look at his eco, he's got plenty of mass in the bank, so he's adding a few more factories. Now he needs to be a bit careful that he doesn't add too many and begin stalling, but this looks like a very, very good game, and the trick for Blackheart now is to not get drawn, basically. And he does have plenty of HP. 9,000 HP is quite good, but Petric is ahead of him in that regard, and Blackheart's going to begin sending all of his reinforcements towards the commander. He steps into range of the Aeon Com and brings the Mantis boys. So first we begin by taking out the Aurora to just lower the DPS of this entire situation from Petric, and then the AC will be next. He takes a shot of a Fervor in the head. Fervors are really going to be the things that could potentially kill him here. He's still, although he is dropping pretty low, but there's so many Mantis now coming back into range of the commander, and perhaps he can even block Petric's ACU. That is what he's doing. He's blocking. Whoa, where did that shot go? What the hell? It looked like some shots went over the ACU there. But yeah, Blackheart wins that very, very well. 3,600 HP walks away with. Petric doesn't really have a base left at this point. He has what, one mass extractor? So yeah, not much of a base left there, and he goes down. Very well played from Blackheart, and he wins this game, and I believe that takes a 1-0 lead here. Yeah, there was a couple of shots there that flew over the ACU. That was quite interesting. Not sure what that was about. Haven't seen that before, and there's not many things I haven't seen in this game. So let's move on to the next game. Now this might be a 10x10 map. Well, I assume, yeah, it's because of the elevation, but I've also never seen that. But I'm not generally looking at that camera angle. So we are in the 10x10. Exactly, Niall. So if people are enjoying, please hit like. So now 10x10 map. So let's see. Starting to think there's always a Hydro. Now I know for a fact that it's not the case. You don't always get a Hydro on this map. I'm sure. I think they discovered it later on, perhaps in the series. But yeah, you won't always have a Hydro, but this is once again a similar start to what we've seen in the previous two games. 5 mexes in the base and core, and hydrocarbon right next to you. It seems to be a common setup on the Mapgen. So you can see as they place the Hydro, a new chunk appears. On the 10x10 compared to the 5x5, the chunks that are revealed are larger. For, I think, performance issues once again, but I'm not sure fully on how all of this works. What's up, Mark? So this time Blackheart has Aeon, and Petric has Seraphim. Now, I'm not sure if they've gone random. Maybe somebody who was watching live yesterday knows. Isn't Petric way less rusty than Blackheart? Well, Petric did play in the Spring Invitational, but those are the only games he's played at FAF. He has only played a Spring Invitational, and he didn't win there. He lost to Nexus in the semi. Okay, players are revealing parts of the map here. You can see what Blackheart can see. He's revealed a lot of mass along this area, and actually even more here. I think they did random. Thanks for the info. It is looking like they've picked random. I wouldn't be surprised. Now he scouts the base, see what's going on there. Sees obviously, well, an air factory is no surprise. Bomber from Petric just sends it through the middle. Finds an engineer and bombs him. Good kill, and another kill, or is it? That's a dodge from Blackheart, and a kill in the base. The bomber is micro to go after this engineer. Yes, we can see the mountains and stuff even when they're not clear to us. That's a lot of mass. Plenty of mass. Nice kill with the Inti on Petric's Inti for free for Blackheart. And that's a vetted Inti now. What's the theme of these games? The theme of these games is to showcase the map generator with the unexplored map setting, and to show it off, to test it, to display some gameplay from two players that don't play too often and are two of the best, maybe the two best ever in FAF history, and to see whether these kind of settings could be used in future tournaments and things, and also to get more interest in the twitch.tv/FAF live Twitch channel, which I will link right now. If you go over and follow there, because the donations and the subs over there are put into FAF tournaments. That's where that any revenue on that channel goes to supporting tournaments on FAF. So Blackheart expanding, multiple engineers. You can see a lot of engineers up here, and this helps a lot because we already saw one or two engineers get bombed in this direction, but guess what? If you have 4, then one gets bombed, and you simply carry on with the other 3. I'm not sure, Dan, about the further development of the Fog of War. I really don't have any information on what that will look like in the future. There's definitely room for improvement in it, but at the same time, I don't know how that will proceed. This engineer does manage to survive, which is quite important because this factory would have been delayed for a long time, or maybe 30 seconds at least, if it hadn't been finished by this NG. And having a factory here is quite useful. Again, you can see the first thing being built out of it, more engineers and probably tanks afterwards. There's a bit of tree reclaim. Overall, there's not too much reclaim on this map, and it's sort of very spread out, so not very not easily grabbed in a short period of time. This Celine, by the way, is fantastic and has enabled this raid of this engineer, and perhaps others. If you look, the Celines are quite fantastic. This Celine, this one right here, and also we have multiple air scouts flying overhead. If your opponent is doing this, you really want to try and take out those air scouts. They provide so much intel. You can see Blackheart grabs that one now. He'll probably grab the next one shortly. At the moment, he has 6 more working on his 7th factory in the base, and he has 1 outside of it, 1.5 maybe. Petri with 2, 4, about to have 6 in the base and 2 outside of it. A lot of engineers in this area. I wonder, does he have a transport? Probably not. But he does have a nice bit of build power in this area and can expand further on to this max and perhaps even the next. Blackheart walking into this expansion, denying the factory shortly before it's completed, and will destroy everything in his path here, using his ACU well. And again, the pressure here prevents a lot of potential damage behind him, and you can see in this expansion PD goes up, in this expansion also PD goes up, and a lot of dead stuff here, and the engineer died building this mechs, but in the end Blackheart still has 2 of those mechs. And Petric down here, you can see, for example, does not have any of those. Those are the mirrored ones. And nobody with these expansions, although both heading in that direction. Blackheart now going to take this expansion for himself with his ACU, and Petric sort of copies that ACU movement, but at a later date. I mean, that's the pain of copying, you're always a bit later. Quite a few Aurora headed in this direction, so have to always be careful when you're up against something that outranges your commander. So it should be fine for Petric, but if he may be forced to step away from the expansion, I don't think he'll be given the time to actually build those mechs, even if he wanted to. So he's heading sort of in a downward direction, and now retreats away from the Aurora as they target fire him. Moves away towards his tanks, and just as the tanks get to the front line, the Aurora kite away expertly and do some nice damage. But now Tham's running in, trying to see what they can do, and now that they've done the hard work of actually getting into range, it's important not to retreat in this situation. Commit and do the damage that you've earned by simply getting into range. He's done some damage, but once again though, reinforcements arrive and clean up that army. And really, Blackheart seems to have far more units actually at this point. Perhaps it's just far more units in the right position. That's 60 Aurora. Yeah, that's a lot more tanks. There are only 39 Thams, which is a little bit surprising. And yeah, this is a very nice raid here, denying this expansion, and Blackheart will, well, he's missing a mech here, but perhaps he will take that as well. He may lose that NG to a Tham though. We'll see. Oh, he retreats away first, queues up a mech and then a PD, hopefully, and he has this Tham targeted. This Tham is searching for an NG, but the NG has escaped. Haha. Now let's see how well this order was done. Well, just about perfectly. Now the engineer returns, and that's a really nice little move order and return there by Blackheart. He's going to secure the expansion with the PD, and that's really nice. Really nice stuff. He has lost this expansion, or at least failed to regain it. Nice Thams in the area patrolling. Bombers from Petric looking to bomb some T1 tanks. How many kills will this get? Just 2. 2 very valuable kills. It's 108 mass when you bomb two Aurora, which is more than a bomber costs. And this bomber has 6 kills, 2 veterancy. There goes 3 Aurora in that pass. And that's a second vet, 9 kills. And another bomb. Only 1 Aurora in this occasion. Oh, 5 there for that T1 Aeon bomb or Seraphim bomber. One of the better bombers. Did it get a drop? It did. No, it didn't. Never mind. Well, Blackheart 5,000 mass ahead on reclaim. He needs to really stop these bombers from getting so many free passes, and now we do see many anti-airs. The problem is that they're all in basically the one location, none on the southern side, and we have actually T2 land and T2 air. A couple T2 mexes as well for Blackheart, and no T2 mexes for Petric, but he does have a T2 land factory. But it is Blackheart who has more options. He's got T2 Pgen, T2 land fac, T2 air fac, and whichever of those works better for him, he can move into. He's got a lot of Aurora in range of Petric's commander, and Blackheart seems to just be in a very strong position overall in this game. Now there was a transport up here on the left somewhere. I'm not sure what it dropped. Maybe it dropped NGs and tanks, but I don't see the transport anywhere anymore. Oh, we have tanks moving into this position. There is a Zui as well. Those tanks are just on attack move, so the PD will take care of the tanks. The Zui, if it knows it does know. It actually, I think the tanks scouted the PD for it there. So the PD will go down to the Zui and probably the last mechs. The question is whether the NG will go down or whether it will rebuild. Blackheart leaving, walking away from this pretty large army. There's also a chicken bot over there. The inclusion of those is major in these T1 armies. Even though they're pretty much the same size as the THAM, they are much more advanced technology. Blackheart using a gunships, or well, one gunship at the moment, to do some raiding, and now he's flying directly towards the commander, it looks like. And he's joined, there's 3 Spectres here now. Targeting the Seraphim commander. Why is the minimap still black? I do not know. And it looks really bad for Petric here. It looks like he's doomed. I don't see any anti-air coming in. There's 1 T1 anti-air. That's not going to be enough. There's 4 gunships now. 1 T1 anti-air is not going to save you. There's a flak moving in, but that's being targeted by Aurora. And Petric is on 25 HP, and he is finished off by the gunships. Another very strong game by Blackheart. So someone was asking, you know, is Blackheart the rustier of the 2? I mean, it does not look like it. Doesn't look like it at all. To me, it looks like Blackheart is in shape. Now, he has been playing Age of Empires apparently, but so maybe that's what's kept his RTS brain ticking over. Petric, I don't know if he's been playing RTS. Maybe he's been playing StarCraft or something else, or maybe not. I don't know, but he hasn't done great in these initial games. Well, the very first game he was in a good position, let's say. The next 2, Blackheart has been looking strong. That's a good performance from him. And yeah, let's move on to the next game. Hopefully people are enjoying the series so far, enjoying the different settings. So the next game I see here is only 38 seconds, so I'm assuming that's a false start. So we're going to go for the next one. Blackheart map, yeah. All right. Not sure the fog of war has had any impact. Oh, it definitely has had a major impact. I mean, let's examine it more closely right now during this game. So it definitely does have an impact, and I'll explain as best I can here. So if you look at Blackheart, we will we'll see. Let's see what this is. At least I can see my base. Yeah, this is actually okay. This is a 20 by 20 map, so this will be quite interesting. Now, will we see first air? Oh, we do see first air. Petric actually queued it up over here and then realized, wait, the hydro's here. We need to build close to the hydrocarbon. He goes first air so we can get an early air scout. Blackheart goes first land. And what's up, Philip? Now we'll see. So he's going for 2 engineers. And he's going for 2 land scouts. Now, you would never make 2 land scouts that quickly on a 20 by 20 map. You know, I can't think of any possible map that you would, or any actual map that where you would do that. Quite a lot of bumping there. So the land scouts begin moving out. We've found some water. So let's see. Now, the problem is you're wondering where does the water lead? Now, Blackheart can't. I don't think Blackheart can see this. But anyway, you can see the land scouts move out. He's found a mechs over here. And he's going for second air. And he's not going for a transport rush. That's another thing you will never see. You really won't see on 20 by 20. I mean, at the moment, it looks like you won't see, oh god, he's walking around. The pathfinding is not great from Blackheart. But, yeah, you can see some reclaim has been revealed. And he's going to be scouting around with scouts. I think he's going to make probably more land scouts soon. Or maybe he'll rely on the air scouts. Not a great build from Blackheart here, to be honest. But, yeah, he begins with 2 air scouts and then a transport and 5 inties. And oh, look at this, they're actually on an island. You can see more reclaim being revealed. Jesus, says Petric. What a map. Yeah, they've realized that they're on an island. And wow, Petric already has a transport. Now, where do you fly to is the next question. Now, the thing is, Petric has a transport, but he only has 1 air scout, so he's gonna scout over in this direction. He's looking for some land to land on. Oh, there's something there. Oh. There's a mechs, there's another mechs. Let's see. So obviously this is impacting the game hugely. If you could see all of this, things would happen very different. Oh, Blackheart has found a lot of mass up here. So here comes, yeah, the scout again revealing more of the reclaim. And there's a lot of mass on this island actually. So here we go. Petric's found some land to land on. His air scouts have found some stuff for him. And well, the thing is, what's going on in the mid island? Can we walk to the mid island? Is this a beach? Looks like a beach. I saw some of it, Zlo. Now, looks like Petric has... he hasn't found these 2 mexes. So this is one of the things with the Unexplored version on 20 by 20 is that Petric only now spots this mech. So although the land and the terrain is revealed, it doesn't necessarily reveal all of the stuff, the resources on the island or on the mass that's revealed. So you can see this is blank. There should really be reclaim and there should be another mech here, but he hasn't flown directly over it. For example, you can see Blackheart has 2 mexes here. So you have to do quite a lot of searching on the larger maps actually, and this was one thing that confused the player somewhat. Understandably so. So Petric takes the left island. He also drops here. He's dropped on a plateau though, so he might have to build down onto this, off this cliff or something, because he's not dropped on, he's not landed on the actual island itself. He's landed on the plateau of the island. He's dropped on the center island closest to him, and now he's got a bomber searching for some kills. If this transport drops anything, which it has, he will drop a bomb on it. That's a really nice kill. You can see a lot of air scouts going around, spotting the map and spotting Blackheart's transport here. Yeah, you do need to scout quite thoroughly. These 2 mexes have been revealed, probably by air units flying over them eventually. And the back of the base, I don't know if it's scouted or not. Oh, this transport needs to land quickly. It does, and flies away. These 3 engineers are alive and may survive long enough to get a land factory. Here's a Zeus looking for those NGs, and there's also an airfight happening that Petric looks to be winning. Definitely looks like Petric's winning there. That's quite a solid air win for him. Bomber comes in, gets 1 NG. The NGs have been split though, and they have also completed 1 factory. So 2nd factory on the way. Bomber gets another engineer kill. But with a factory up, this should be securable, barring a drop from Petric there, and Blackheart's going to replace the dead engineer on this island to actually Petric, yeah, dropped on this island as well, but lost his build power before the factory was completed. Blackheart's still going to drop here. Absolutely needs to take this island. It should be his. He drops 3 engineers there. The 4th will die with the transport. And there's a lot of dead airplanes and on this island. We got multiple bombers, dead NG, 2 dead transports. But Blackheart looks like he will secure it. Petric now drops more build power to this island as well. Again, we saw him drop on the plateau. And he does build down from it, but also drops more engineers as well. And if you can secure more of the islands more quickly than your opponent, you're going to be in a good position. Petric, T2 Air, T2 Pgen. Blackheart only now moving to T2 Air. He's at 30% on that factory. Still no Navy from either one. Yes. It's correct. I think we'll see Navy very soon, to be honest. I don't think it'll be too much longer. There's plenty of positions to make Navy in as well. I think here and in the main base are going to be the main positions here. You can see these mechs are definitely raidable by frigates, so I think Navy could have been even built a little sooner, but we'll see. We'll see how long it takes them to get that production up and running. Looks like Petric overall is a bit faster in terms of taking, say, this island compared to this one from Blackheart. Petric also seems to have air control. Transport goes down, but not before dropping 3 engineers in the water. Without fog of war, there would be Navy, right? I'm not sure. Bomber comes in to raid the main island. It's going to need 3 passes to kill a mass extractor. And a bit of a drop. Some Medusa, a Mantis, and an Anti-Air walk into a bar and begin firing indiscriminately. And they get taken out pretty easily. However, the gunships will not be taken out so easily. Renegades are here targeting the factory to deny any anti-air being constructed thanks to their AoE. And also anti-air being focused by the Mantis. So I think 2 Renegades should definitely be able to take out 2 anti-airs, but the Renegades are still making sure they're getting into the factory first. So there goes 1 Renegade, and there's still 2 anti-airs to deal with, so the Renegade, I don't think it'll be able to kill both of those by itself. Yeah, the mexes need to be directly scouted rather than simply revealing the terrain. They're sort of a separate entity in this mode, especially on the larger maps. So Petric was a bit late, not realizing that he hadn't actually fully scouted his island. He was a bit late getting some mexes. He did eventually find them. Gunships deal with that drop. And yeah, it's quite an even game so far. It looks like Blackheart is making T3 on his commander, and he's making Janus. Now, he definitely doesn't have air control. Not even close. 42. And Blackheart has 5 inties. So, yeah, not a huge amount of inties there. Energy storage going up. Blackheart on his way to T3 on the commander. And the Janus are coming out. There's a transport coming out. Inti's going to fly directly into his base, though. And the transport is cancelled. Does Petric see the ACU? Oh, he's just out of range. Okay, now he's in vision. But the question is whether Petric will actually be looking at this. It's pretty easily seen. I'd say when he comes and gives an order to fly away. If he's zoomed in at all, he will see it. If he's not zoomed in, then obviously it's very easily missed. So who knows? Petric is taking over this island. He's going to have much superior map control thanks to his air control, and it's going to be really difficult for Blackheart to win in a normal fashion. So he's making T3 on his commander, and he's going to try and do a comm drop somewhere, presumably the main base, I would guess, if he can reach that position. Petric, making use of his air control, has made 6 Corsairs and continues to make more. I believe he also has 6 gunships. 7 Corsairs. Yeah, he is still making Corsairs. He's making drops onto this main island once again. First one got cleaned by gunships. This one, well, maybe it'll be cleaned by Janus, but that will reveal the Janus menace to Petric, and perhaps he will go take them out, as actually the ACU has left the main base, and Petric is looking for him by the looks of it. I'm not sure exactly if he knows what's going on. Maybe he's just attack moved over here to support the Corsairs and the gunships. But the ACU has just flown past the gunship there in the transport, and he's getting very close to reaching the main base here. And there's nothing in his path except the mexes he's going to fly over. So Petric also does not have radar except for this one right here. This is where he's going to see the ACU. There are 5 Corsairs though in the base, and also some gunships, so that obviously puts a dampener on things. The ACU makes itself known. You can hear the shots from the T2 transport there, which might be the first reveal of a problem. Blackheart lands with a full mass bar and plenty of energy in storage so that he can build rapidly. The problem is that he isn't aware of 7 Corsairs that are about to just attack him immediately, as well as 2 gunships. PDs go up, but Blackheart's going to need a shield immediately. Multiple shields and anti-air. He's already lost 6,000 HP. And he's trying to build a SAM. I think a shield is what's needed first, probably. And maybe even some T1 anti-air and a shield would be superior. He's lost a lot of HP now. The PDs will start doing a lot of damage for him. But he's also not dodging while he's building, so... This does not look like it's going to work out. There's so many Corsairs. Oh my god. I mean, the SAM will do a lot, but he has to survive long enough for it to actually do that damage. Down to 2,000. He's gotten himself a veterancy. Keeps him alive a bit longer, but there's just too many missiles. You can't dodge all of them. And he goes down. How would he build the shield with gunships on it? Well, that's true. Petric would probably retarget the gunships to kill the shield gen before it completes. But the thing is, maybe he wouldn't. You can build a shield in about 4 or 5 seconds, I think, when you have T3 on the commander. So there is a window for Petric to do that, but it's pretty small. But yeah, in general, I don't think there's anything that could have really made that com drop work when your opponent has 7 Corsairs ready and some gunships. And at the same time, the build power is hard at work building factories and PDs. So Medusa and T2PD is going to come out and do a lot of damage. Yeah, lots of water and no navy. But, well, you can see what can be done without navy. A lot of damage to be done with drops and air. So really no benefit to building navy. I think navy would have come eventually if things had stabilized somewhat, but because Blackheart was, well, Petric invested in, you know, plenty of air and used a lot of drops, gunships to attack the islands. You can see, I mean, for example, T1 Navy is not going to attack this or this over here. There's a limit to what T1 Navy can do. This is not killable by frigates. This might be, but, you know, many of the other mexes are not killable by frigates, so eventually Navy would arrive, but frigates are not going to do a great deal for you. And also, Blackheart fell behind and decided to do something drastic, so we never got to the stage where Navy would eventually have been quite strong. So nice game from Petric. Nice, very active play with the air, and yeah, good stuff. So let's see the scores. You can see Petric moving ahead there. So let's close this and move on to another game in the series. What's up, Hugo? Missed the start. Was he already quite behind? Well, at that point, once he went for the T3, he was basically Blackheart lost air very heavily. At one point he had, you know, 5 inties versus 40, and Petric was also faster to T2 air and T2 PGen, and used that to take more map control. Let's give you a view of the game, shall we? Alright, see you, Kurtza. Good night. So Blackheart's got UEF this time. He had UEF last time as well, and Petric has Seraphim. So we're back on 5x5. Yes, exactly, land. So once again, the early land scouts move out. Blackheart waking 3 land scouts. Really wants to know what's going on in the map first. He does make, you know, one initial engineer. Also, we don't have a hydrocarbon, which is quite important. It might delay both players there, if I had to guess. And we can see 3 land factories. Well, 2 further land factories planned and a hydro spotted. Blackheart taking some tree groups here and scouting the top side with 2 scouts, bottom side with 1, and begins his expansion. You can see this is as far as he can give an order. I mean, he could give an order over here, but what would really be the point? So quite a low number of mechs so far. At the moment we have, you know, 4, 5 in the base, 3 outside the base at this point. Perhaps 1 more will be revealed in the center somewhere. But at the moment it's quite a low amount of mass, so not too many factories going to be built here. Petric going to get probably 3 up. He may not even get 3 up before leaving the base with the ACU. And the Hydro will be... could be quite useful, but again, it's quite far forward. So it will be difficult to hold on to. But if you get it, it's going to make it a lot easier to get an air factory built and working. Blackheart combines work on a single factory before finishing the next. And he does have quite a bit of mass. He got this rock here with this engineer and begins working on a bit more reclaim. At the moment he's quite low on tanks. That is, he has 2 and Petric has 5, but Petric is perhaps a bit slower on the expansion, and although he has 5 tanks, the one engineer that really he wants to keep alive to expand to this mechs is the exact one that's not defended and will die to one of Blackheart's 2 tanks. Now, well, at this point he has more than 2, but one of those 2 that he had fulfilled a very important role, and the Land Scout continues scooting. So, going to be quite a different game to previous ones. Nice attack there by that Tam and Celine. Take out an engineer and a radar. And the ACUs meet in the middle. We've been here before. Feels like a 5x5 to me. And it doesn't look like this other factory can actually be afforded, to be honest. I think Petric might have to reconsider that one. He is also making the Hydro. Blackheart with 4, and he's going to make a 5th factory. That's all he has queued up. He also doesn't have the Hydro queued up at the moment. But he does really want to get a central radar, which will give him a lot of vision. And now the trick is really, when there's so little resources, it's really about, you know, if you can deny a single mech from your opponent that you will keep on your side, and also get, you know, even trades after that, then you're going to be in a decent position. And yeah, Blackheart's going to steal that mechs. Even stealing it for a short amount of time will be worth it, as a mech pays itself back very quickly. It costs 36 mass, gives you +2 per second, so pays itself back very quickly. Nice raid there. And Blackheart loses his radar once again. That's also a dead radar. I mean, it looks like Blackheart's just continually losing his radars, which is very sad. They're not cheap. Cost a lot more than a tank to build them. So we got, what is it, 5 factories each? Yeah, Petric had started a factory in the center here, but reclaimed it as he could not afford it. And this map is really going to test your fundamentals, and Petric might have been caught out of position here. Blackheart going to use this advantage this time to get a lot of damage in. The ACU just completely separated from its army. Blackheart, well, you can see why he wants those radars so badly. They allow him to spot the ACU in a very compromised position, and he has 22 tanks surrounding it. And even if he doesn't die to the tanks, even if the reinforcements arrive, the ACU can walk into this commander and make sure he never gets away. Just walk him down and kill him. Petric with no escape. He's separated from the rest of the map by the enemy ACU. On one side is the ACU, on the other is his enemy's base. And Petric is just doomed here. Blackheart with a quick win. Superior positioning by him, and it's a very convincing win. He has 8,700 HP left at the end, which is huge. For a 5x5 map ending this quickly, that is huge. And Petric really just got absolutely caught out. You can see Blackheart lost so many radars, but you can see why he continually rebuilt them, even though they're expensive to build when you have so little mass, but the value is huge. And yeah, you just saw it. Petric here, units here, and Blackheart had ACUs in between. Almost every unit is rallied back to the ACU and takes him out very quickly. Is forum.fa forever the correct forum? Well, it should say, if you're on the old forum, it will say please go here at the top and give you a link to the new forum. Otherwise, you are at the right one. I think it's forums.fa forever, but I'm not sure. When did these... I'm not sure what you mean, Hugo. Exactly. When did these map generator matchups begin? Do you mean this particular series or what exactly? Okay, let's watch another game. We have a few left. So El Kazan ladder match? No. No, we're continuing watching the series. These are not ladder matches. Okay, we're on 10 by 10 on this occasion. And once again, we have another Hydro. Not sure what this is about, but whatever. We got Seraphim for Blackheart now versus Cybran for Petric. Okay, let me see. I'm not on the wrong overlay. Cool. So again, if you're enjoying this, guys, please hit like. These are randomly generated maps. Well, you know, randomly in quotation marks, I guess. You can see up here the name of the map, Neuroxis map generator. This is so the maps are generated on the spot when you click create map, and they are also using the Unexplored map setting. So we basically have a fog of war scenario where both players have to, they don't know what the map looks like, they have to figure it out in real time as they play the game. So we'll see a lot more scouting going on, a lot earlier land scouts and air scouts even. Largely it's been land scouts that have been revealing the map, but on the 20 by 20 then the air scouts have been doing perhaps the bulk of the work, and just air units in general. So we got a couple of Selines out, and Petric has gone for actually labs. The radar does not seem to reveal. I think it's down to the vision. accessible for future games. I think there is a way to use them in future games, but it's not. I don't think it's really intended to be used that way. So I don't think there's an easily accessible feature that allows you to reuse specific maps. So you'd have to investigate exactly how to do that. There is some kind of seed, but yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it works, to be honest. So a bomber from Petric, he doesn't know what's ahead of him, but the bomber will find it. The maps are not uploaded anywhere. I'll say it that way. So you have to basically regenerate the same map if you want to try and use the same map again. Seed is in the name, says low. I believes low. That's a good kill by that bomber. That's the only engineer heading to the top where there's a 3-mex expansion. The expansions are quite far from the base. There's also 3-mex expansion here. And the bomber from Blackheart just got killed for free there. And the bomber gets another engineer kill on Blackheart. So overall, a very nice opening for Petric. And as you can see here, he spots this expansion down in the bottom left. And that also means that there definitely is an expansion in the top right, just by the way the symmetry works on this map. All the map generated maps are symmetrical. In vanilla there was Fog of War, but I don't think there actually was Fog of War implemented in Forged Alliance, or I don't think it was built in. This is like a whole new system that has been constructed, I believe. The terrain sometimes can be problematic. I mean, there's always room to improve the map generator. But here we have quite an open map. The terrain is actually very limited here, which is not always the case. So we got, scouts moving out. Now, at this point, we can see most of the map, but it's not necessarily the case that both these players can see all of this. We're getting a picture of what both players combined can see. And Petric's looking for some damage. He gets taken out by that Tham. This engineer is being closely guarded. A bomber would be the ideal unit to send in here, or perhaps a jester. And the jester is heading straight towards that expansion. Does the map generator come up with crazy stuff? Does it? Kind of. It has come up with some weird stuff before, but yeah, there is a range of possibility, but it's not too limited now in its possibilities. Engineer dies straight away. One of the great advantages of a jester. Things can't really dodge it. There are different settings. You can adjust the settings, and it's, say, for different kind of resources, like the amount of resources. I think you can adjust the the water and the terrain, like how many cliffs or things like that you kind of want. So you can adjust the settings to your liking, and if you max out some of those settings, I'm sure you're going to get wilder looking maps. Blackheart looks to be in a little bit of danger here, to be honest. He's got no units with him. He's in the enemy half of the map against the enemy commander. And Blackheart's sending a lot of reinforcements in this direction. Now the Jester's done fantastic work killing an engineer and 3 mexes. And yeah, Blackheart walking into the enemy comm and bringing tanks with him as well. Now, has Petric realized what's happening? I mean, he can see the reinforcements coming, thanks to his air. Now he's bringing his Jester back to use on the enemy ACU. He's got reinforcements moving from his base south, but he doesn't have many units with him at the moment. He's being dragged away from parts of the map that he actually wanted to attack here, so they're using basically default. I think there's like a tournament settings mode. There's some kind of default settings that they're using, which give you a decent range of stuff, but nothing too extreme by the looks of it. And is this going to be a draw? Both players, I mean, Blackheart with some pathfinding issue there. Petric needs to be shot about 4 more times before he goes down, otherwise he's not going to be killed by the ACU explosion, and he does not get killed. Dying to FA pathfinding, says Blackheart. Petric escapes with a low amount of HP. If there is a single overcharge at any point, Blackheart would have killed Petric, but it doesn't have the energy for that anyway, so slightly irrelevant whether he had storage or not, because he didn't have energy. And yeah, he got turned around there. At some point his ACU just did a bit of a spin. The gun swiveled with the body, obviously, and he stopped shooting. So maybe if that didn't happen, he could have drawn Petric, but it's unclear. It's unclear whether he would have gotten the additional shots required. I think he would have needed at least two shots. So it's a bit unclear. Another win for Petric. Now let's see the follow-up game. That one ended very quickly. Both ACUs ended up in the same expansion. Blackheart really likes to be aggressive with the commander. Yeah, you can snap the ACU around by giving orders to build or reclaim or things. The Cybercom, well, you see, when he died, he got when the units around the commander died, he got veterancy. So that veterancy doesn't get given until, you know, it's like the ACU dies, then the game checks if this ACU dies to the explosion, and then if not, then this ACU will get the veterancy. So he would have actually died there. If he had taken a few more shots. The ACU gains 1000 HP when he gets the first vet level. Okay, so bit of a short one there. Nothing too interesting happening, except some nice gesture use. So we open the next game. And see what happens. And take a drink as well. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, we're on 20 by 20 now. So, let's see, Aeon mirror matchup here, and no hydrocarbon in the base. Now, it looks like what they've scouted is about this much in terms of the reclaim and mexes, so there could be stuff at the back here. What's up, Nicholas? Yeah. Good night. Is FAF the new AoE? Well, I'm sure that parts of this are definitely inspired by how AoE works. So we got 5 NGs and an air scout. We've seen that before from Petric earlier on the 20 by 20, the other 20 by 20 map, which ended up with a lot of different islands and neither player connected by land. And Blackheart does what he did in that case as well, and starts with a land factory. AoE never left. It didn't. It's still going stronger than ever, I think. It is a very fun game to watch. And pretty fun to play as well sometimes. Oh, a mass extractor. Petric has spotted some. Looks like he found them with his engineers. That's quite impressive. He's just walking in directions and finding mexes with engies. That's advanced scouting. So, is there no Hydro has been revealed? So, most players will have to live with simple T1 gens. And we found some water on the sides here. Also, reclaim. It's a Bakira. Cheers to you. I won't try and do a Boston accent. And yeah, Blackheart's gonna use, and now this is a great advantage of the Aeon Land Scouts. They are the only Land Scouts that hover. So he's gonna send them across the water and look for any island expansions, because obviously that will be very relevant information. Now he also needs to see what's going on in the middle, what's happening. Seems to be a decent amount of reclaim around, but not. Well, it's quite spread out, and we're on a 20 by 20 map, so not easy to grab all of it. This is a great location to get some reclaim in, though, for sure. And we probably see a transport from both of these guys at some point, I would imagine. And yeah, that's Blackheart making a transport right now. Petric already has a transport, so he's gonna get his build power on board and exit the base. And yeah, he's just gonna search for something. He's moving north, and then he's thinking, yeah, maybe not. Does have an air scout flying around, revealing more of the terrain. If we get down to ground level, you'll see some mountains, and that's about it. Can the map generator put mech extractors in the water? I don't know exactly. I haven't seen it. It's what I will say. I don't know if that's one of the things that it can or can't do at this moment. Also, well, the problem I see is if you're in the unexplored setting, will it be revealed by an air scout? Because the mech is technically underwater, and an air scout does not have vision, doesn't have water vision. So I don't know if they did put mechs underwater, if they would be seen except for actual naval units, which would be problematic, obviously. Are there any good New Zealand / Aussie 1v1 players still around? Yeah, I don't think so. Retired is a bit of a weird word to use, but I'm not sure. I don't think there are any, really good 1v1 players from that region at the moment. Quite a lot of mexes here on this map. It can put mexes in the water. I've seen generated maps with them. Okay, thank you for that info. Were there ever any? Yeah, I mean, was this guy Aussie or was he American? I'm trying to remember. I feel like he was from Australia or New Zealand. Another transport plan for Petric. This guy was a very good player. Hopefully he'll return at some point. Yeah, Numbringer's quite good. He returned for a while. Oh wait. Now I know who Fabian is. Yeah. God damn it. So Blackheart expanding. He's got some labs as well to try and, I don't know, do some raiding. Bit of flare action. Running through the alien trees. Got him indeed. And overall, Blackheart looks to have a better start. Certainly a lot more score. And we'll probably see, oh yeah, another transport, a bit of eco, and probably another, probably see T2 air shortly. And yeah, Petric seems to be quicker to make the T2 air factory in general on the larger maps at least. 83%. It's Flare looking for some damage on these engineers that have just been dropped to this expansion. And the flare, the little flare, shoots into the factory and not into the mexes. Or not into the engineers, I should say. And the factory defends the engies. Yeah, it's going to take a long time for a flare to chew through a factory, so I think this flare is going to die eventually. Without really achieving much, the engineer is barely even aware of its presence. Oh, it got the radar kill. That's a nice kill, and then it promptly gets deleted. Oh, flare over here. Very nice kill on an engineer here. In fact, in between a whole army of Aurora, denies 3 mexes for a while. Yeah, I haven't seen this guy in a while. Transport lands 2 engineers, and there's some flares, a little flare squad with an Aurora sergeant keeping tabs. And will they be able to hold on here? Two NGs will get a factory up. Yeah, I'm wondering what that was as well, Turbo. T2 P-Gen going up for Blackheart. I'm sure that, yeah, Petric already has T2 land, and he's making gunships at the moment, and he's got a transport full of, well, he's got a scout, he's got some Aurora, and he's got some NGs. And this transport is headed to this location where there's a lot of engineers. A radar being constructed right now as well. Blackheart loves his radars. Players, please take note of the nice radar coverage. I mean, it's a lot of radars. It's 1,000 mass in radars, but information is everything. Alright, see you, Casey. Thanks for tuning in. So let's see what happens here. Oh, transport won't last very long, but the drop is successful, and the Aurora begin massacring the civilians. 1 NG from Petric dies. Oh, bit of an air fight over there. Oh, what's going on? Let's head over there. Looks like Blackheart winning an air fight. Not too many inties involved for Petric there. And a bomber comes in, and it missed, did it? Or did it simply not drop? I'm not sure. 2 Aurora go down, and the rest will be bombed in short order. Blackheart missing his front expansion here. ACU is not involved at all in the front line. It's probably really not worth it and simply too dangerous. Leave it up to the units. It looks like Petric overall has superior map control. He's got most of this expansion. He's got this expansion. And on the flip side, Blackheart missing both of those that Petric has in the symmetrical position. T2 land, actually T3 land on the way for Petric as well. Let's see, he's stalling mass. but Reclaim is carrying through some of the time. But in general, overall, he's stalling quite heavily, not grabbing some of the mass that's around. For example, this mass. There's some other small pockets of mass which could help him out, but again, not a huge amount available to him. And an air fight that is being lost. We got Swifties versus Swifties, Inties versus Inties, and actually, oh, that's a lot of dead Swifties for Petric, and they're also depositing quite a lot of mass on Blackheart's side of the map. Blackheart also with T2 land, and he is sticking with it for now. He's got 4 obsidians, and they're going to be a very nice bolster to his army on the front lines. Like how they've both built their T2 land factory quite far forward. You don't really need to build it in your base here. T3 air for Petric is done, and he's got a T3 NG out. Blackheart just adding more T2 P-gens at the moment and spamming Swift Winds. He does have air control. We saw him in the air fight, so he's now pushing forward with some Aurora, and those are blazes from Petric. He has a T2 factory in this position, but his blaze has gone down for free. This flak will now go down for free. Of course, it can't shoot back against Aurora. And the PD will also go down shortly, unless this engineer can save it with its build power. He is repairing it. The walls are about to drop though, which will allow more shots through. And now another blaze comes out, and it's just not shooting at anything. The blaze, oh, the blaze is targeting this NG over here. T2 PD, in fact. T2 factory dies and is reclaimed. Did it die, or was it control K'd and reclaimed? I'm wondering. T2 air factory over here, support factory. That's interesting. I think Blackheart just happened to have a lot of build power in this area, so he decided, well, what can we do with those guys? The simplest thing you can do when you have a lot of build power in an area is to just build an air factory, of course, because, well, you don't, well, the air can just fly forward. It doesn't matter really where the air is built because it moves so quickly. So that's a good way to make use of build power. Petric planning for a strap bomber. He has no ASF at the moment. He has a T3 air scout though, and 8 Swifties. So Blackheart with 2 gunships, 22 Swift Winds, and he's not making T3 air yet. He could probably begin the upgrade. Well, no, he definitely could, considering he has 1,000 power overflow. But he's going to continue making T2 air for now. Use the Swift Winds. Swift Winds are not very good at all against ASF, I will say that. I think Inties in general are better than Swifties versus ASF, which may sound weird, but I think it's really to do with the fire cycle, the amount of overkill and things like that. Alright, see a non-bringer. This will be on the channel anyway, if you want to finish up the series at some point. And anyone else. The Oblivion actually survived and got a lot of kills, but the base is still dead. There's no factory, and it will need to be retaken. But because there is a T3 land switch, there's just a lack of units, and now a Harb getting walked down by many Obsidians. Obsidians, anything that gets into range of them really does just die. Swift cans can chase strap bombers at least, that's true. That is a major advantage of them for sure. But I mean, straight up in oh, that's a dead T2 radar. Straight up against you know, against ASF, they're not very good. Now, if you do get a fight like this where it's 1 or 2 ASF against a whole fleet of Swiftwinds, a whole air force, then you are not going to do great. Now that's a massive air win. Once again, the early ASF lost for Petric, and he's going to have to just build those numbers up, but he's already got a strat. He's got 2 ASF right now. This one has been saved, it seems. And yeah, it's huge mass stall, and he's lost the front positions that are so crucial for him. And Blackheart has taken his, and now will move forward and colonize the front positions of Petric. He doesn't have a mass stall going on. He has reclaim, a lot of reclaim available, especially in this position. And he may lose these obsidians to Harbs. Can the anti-air gun on the back of the Strat one-shot an Inti? No, I don't think so. Actually, we can check some of the damage here. Oh, wait. The Aeon one doesn't have an anti-air gun, does it? The Cybern does, and perhaps UEF? Yeah, I'm not sure. So what is this strat going to do? I mean, whenever it begins bombing something, it's going to die very shortly after. So can it really find targets good enough to be worth sending it in and leaving the reclaim? It's questionable, really. Yeah, Strat Bomb anti-air is quite weak. I think it's Cybern and UEF that have Strat Bomb anti-air. Really, it can only deal with Inties because it outruns them, so it kind of kites away from them as they're chasing. If they were the same speed, then it wouldn't be so great. Here comes the Strat. It's coming into the main base. What's it going to bomb? Oh, it's going to land directly on the shield. Actually, one pigeon was outside the shield. The other pigeon, somehow, that's just barely inside the shield, apparently, I guess. But this one just barely out, so not the best placed. Shield gen by Blackheart. Another T2 pigeon goes down. Blackheart builds in their energy storage, and he has 2 T3 pigeons, so losing 2 T2 pigeons is really a minor inconvenience, and the 1600 mass deposited in his base is quite nice. Quite nice for him. Let's see the Air Force now for Blackheart. 23 Swifties, 14 ASF. Versus 9 ASF only. That Land Scout just spotted a T2 transport with 2 Harbingers in it. My god. Is the damage directional with shields? No, I think they're either just, they're either covering the thing or they're not. And sometimes it's hard to tell where the line is. Also, perhaps, yeah, there goes 2 Harbs in a transport. I think also maybe the bomb didn't have the AoE to actually hit this one. That could have been the other thing. Maybe it is not covered, but simply the Aeon bomber doesn't have a huge amount of AoE. So we have quite a few Harbs out for Petric, but he has to retake some positions. He's lost, a couple of Harbs here. There's a lot of reclaim in this position, and he does begin manually reclaiming it. Only 1 engineer doing that, so this order could take a long time if it ever does happen. Blackheart is taking this position. He's got a PD up to defend some threats, and has taken most of the reclaim. So this looks great. The water, I think eventually, once again, it's a case where eventually Navy can be very good. But for now, I mean, because the map is very open and the map is very large, air and land are more immediate threats. And once you get a certain amount of economy, then maybe you can try to quickly move into T2 Navy and do damage. But, Navy in general is more of a long-term thing in these kind of maps when more immediate damage can be done by land and air. So Blackheart has a lead in map control, a lead in air, and has gathered more reclaim for himself. He's got 3.5 T3 pigeons at the moment, give or take, and that's more than Petric has. Petric with 2 pigeons right now, and Blackheart sending in the ASF over the base. There are no... Okay, a lot of ASF missed that landed spy plane. And he's going to try and just clear up the air potentially, or force anti-air in the base as well. That's T3 mechs for Petric, which I do not believe Blackheart has invested in. I don't see T3 mechs for Blackheart. And Blackheart with a drop. That's an Obsidian and 3 Harbs there. Where are they headed? Well, we've got a lot of economy in this position. Mass storages, T2 mexes, and here come the transports. The air cover is total. Some ASFs tried to sneak in behind those transports, but were taken out. Mainly by Swifties, it looks like, to be honest. Those look like Swiftwinds there. Yep, that's a whole Swiftwind squadron, and more ASF go down. One Harb already dies to the PD, and also maybe to this Harb. I'm not sure exactly. Oh, no. It was this strap bomber that just got shot down. That bombed one of the Harbingers. And this whole expansion is dead now. This Harb will go down without killing one in return. There it goes. Does some damage, but is not successful. Do ASF regen fuel? Units regen fuel when they're landed, or when they are refueled on an air staging platform. Those are the 2 times that they regen fuel. And looks like Blackheart's going to win air control here. Yeah, he now obviously commits to the fight. The Swiftwind's still contributing. And yeah, this is going to be an air win. A brutal air win for Blackheart. Plenty of air left over. Still got Swiftwinds available. A lot of mass deposited here, but so much damage being done by these 2 Harbs. Over 3,000 mass kills for both of them. Almost 600 for the Obsidian. The ACU moves. Well, the ACU is just assisting a T3 engineer. Two Harbingers that were dropped in another expansion now just arrive in the base. And there's no reclaim order on the P-Gen, so it explodes. Another P-Gen goes down after just one more shot. 5,000 mass kill apiece on these Harbs. They dodge the strap bomber. There's another Harb coming in. Petric overcharges the Harb, but does not have enough energy to kill it in one shot, and he's dropped so low. There's still 1 Harb left on full HP, and an Obsidian, and Petric dies to 2 Harbs and an Obsidian in his main base. He didn't have the overcharge ready, and I mean, look at the rest of the map. I mean, we haven't been able to cover the rest of the map because we're looking at this drop and the air fight, but like, I mean, there's damage being done here. These are going to run towards the main base. This position is dead completely. That's a dead Omni. This position is dead. Well, this was defended. But Petric is taking the front of the map. You can see he's taking it back. Blackheart has lost so much stuff, and doesn't have a T3 mechs in his base either, like Petric does. So actually, Petric has 2 T3 mexes and a third on the way. So, oh, that was not looking too bad for Petric, except for these 2 Harbs. I mean, he didn't have energy storage, really. Realistically, that's what killed him, and he loses the game because of it. Huge amount of it. Also, Blackheart has lost all of his air. I would like to note that there's no air left. There's what, 2 ASF? 2 ASF is what he had left versus 1. That's a 2-to-1 advantage. Sounds like a lot, but I think this Sam had something to do with it. 5,000 mass killed, by the way. And yeah, And Petric also has a lot more reclaim immediately available to him. So if he didn't die there, I feel like he's in a very good position to carry on and win. But that doesn't happen. Blackheart takes him out. That was a bit of a ridiculous end to that game. Bit of rust showing. A little bit of rust showing there. Teensy bit. So let's move on. There's a hidden strat up in the north. I mean, Blackheart was in a good position for a long time. He even finished with the higher score, but I don't think his map position was actually solid by the end of the game. So we have one more game left. Let's check it out. Let's get it opened. Got the old Aeon loading screen. Let's just give a bit of a zoom out here. We're back on a 10x10 map. And yeah, Hydro revealed. Is the Hydro... Yeah, it looks very similar to the mass deposit, but it's actually not. I was wondering. So, quite a lot of mass in the core again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mass extractors. Very close by. And a hydrocarbon once again. I didn't know that was in the emotes. Psycho. Okay, I am showing you the game. Cool. So once again, one engineer followed by scouts for Blackheart. And Petric is a bit slower with the scouting. He's going for something that we've seen him do before. He's gotten 3 engies and then 2 labs. Gonna use his attackers as scouters at the same time. And once again, 4 mexes only built before the hydrocarbon. He cannot afford to build this one, otherwise he will stall power. So, the labs will go in different directions. Of course, you got to maximize how much scouting they're able to do. So you're not going to send 2 scouts or two labs in the same direction on these kind of settings. So Blackheart's scouting directly to the sides of his base first, and right behind his base, looking for maybe some reclaim or mass extractors, resources of any kind really. And the key is going to be to find the major expansions if there are any. Generally there are, you know, large expansions, not simply random single mexes scattered around. So Petric is the first to find an expansion. Blackheart also finds one. And these are not the same expansion actually. So I think there's one in here somewhere. This is... So there should be one here, I guess, which Blackheart has not spotted. Oh, slight reveal of a mex there. And Petric might be the one to find it first. On the opposite side, Blackheart finds one here and one here, and we'll see what this does for his engineers. You can see he already has engineers moving in the general direction because he knows that there's very likely going to be expansions over here. So he heads in that direction, and you know, you don't want to leave your engineers in the base until you absolutely know where the mexes are, because you're going to be too slow then. So he's already on the way with 3 engineers and scouting ahead of them, scouting less so on the bottom side, and this might actually work out because there's a lot of mass on the top side here. Now of course there will be similar on the bottom, but he's focused on the top now, scouting that way and sending engineers that way. And because the map is symmetrical, this makes a lot of sense. Engineer will go down before the ACU deals with the Mantis. Can't be saved. Blackheart has a much clearer picture of the map compared to Petric, and it's down to the use of the land scouts. Still, the bottom side is not scouted, although Blackheart knows what is here because he's seen what's on top, and again, symmetry. So we got 4 land factories and a bit, and an air factory. And is there a... I thought I saw a T2 Mex, but I was wrong. This must have been what Petric was talking about when he says masterpiece incoming. He's got a ghetto gunship, and he's killed a lot of engineers in the base. There's no air factory. He's also killed the radar. Once again, Blackheart and his radars, and he leaves. And because his transport is so low in HP, he doesn't want to risk losing all of those labs at once. Just drops them off and sends them on their merry way. As they run, they don't swing their arms at all when they're running. It's not very ergonomic, but now some Mantis find them and will take them out pretty quickly. A lot of anti-air trying to fire its missiles at them as well, but that's not too effective. But the Mantis are very, very good against mech marines, so they take them out. Maybe with a lot of micro from Petric, he could have gotten more value there, but it wasn't to be. A lot of engineers in the base for him. Not a lot of expansion on the bottom side. And actually mech marines on the top side are dropped out of a transport. He doesn't want to use the ghetto, but only now does an air factory get built by Blackheart. And he can barely really afford to... He can turn on the NT production, but does need a bit more power. There's a load of stuff planned, but units are getting in the way and slowing down the engineers from building hugely. This is a lot of power planned here, but you can see why he has this planned. If you look elsewhere, he's got, 4, 5, 8, 10 mexes that he should expect to get, and you're going to need a lot of more power to use those. Can the torps from a torp bomber hit a naval unit while they fall? Do they have to go underwater first? It's very unlikely that they'll hit stuff, but yeah, they won't go through something. That's a very nice raid. This Mantis has done a great job. Going to kill the mechs as well. Deny 4 in total. Or, yeah, he will. I thought he was going to go out of range there, but no. ACU finds those mech marines that run with the straight arms, and they get one shot. It's a nice vet for the ACU. And Blackheart will expand. On the top side, ACU securing this expansion. Even with a PD, I think Blackheart will... Well, he won't turn away from this PD. He will take it out. And, yeah, this will basically make it much more difficult to raid the positions behind him. So he walks in, kills the engineers, and he's just walking. And he's actually capturing the PD. Fun fact, capture only costs energy. Costs no mass. And you can see there, 25 seconds to build a T1 PD. It takes 12.5 seconds to capture. So it's twice as fast to capture as it is to build. Drain on the ACU also was minus 160. Well, it was minus 140, but the ACU produces 20, so it was actually minus 160. And generally it's minus 80 to build, so it costs the full energy cost, no mass, and is twice as fast as building that unit. So posh boy. Do all ACUs need the same amount of mass to reach first vet? Yes. 1,000. Transport loaded, but not not dispatched. And it looks like Petric is the one with the superior map control at the moment. He's taking this position thanks to the help of this low HP transport that dropped labs off very near the start of the game. And just as I say that, it is shot. It was left in enemy territory and goes down. The whole bottom side is more or less secured for Petric. He's not investing in PDs. We can see that this is a big difference between him and Blackheart. Blackheart invests in PDs. Well, I guess this one is his opponent's PD that he's invested in. But yeah, Petric may be looking vulnerable in some of these expansions, and there's a lot of mantis moving around, which could find some damage if there's some scouting done. But the problem for Blackheart, I guess, is that he doesn't really have any air control at all, and he loses all of those NGs in that transport. A bit of a hopeful transport there from him. And there's a PD. In this expansion, makes sense to put one here, as long as the ACU is gonna leave, and the ACU will leave, I'm sure, very shortly. PD is in a good position once ACU exits the picture. T2 land for Petric, T1 only for Blackheart, and also no T2 mexes either. Takes out this position, and he really needs to take this to equalize map control. Ghetto snipe option. It's definitely an option for Petric. He does have, you know, very good map control. Maybe some T1 bombers, some ghettos is an option, but he's gone for T2 land. If you want to snipe with ghettos, you really should aim for T2 air ghettos, because they have a very high DPS. Just 6 mech marines in a T1 transport. You're going to need a lot of those to really take an AC down quickly. If you have 2 T2 transports filled with labs, the DPS is very high, and 2 of them will take out an enemy commander very quickly. So if you're going for a ghetto snipe, I would definitely encourage you to make T2 ghettos, not T1. Blackheart looks to be bullying with his mantis. That's 2 pillars dropped in a strange location. Not sure why they're dropped there. I guess to try and intercept his army, but if they're not moved, and if the mantis surround these pillars, then they're not going to do too great. In 10 words or less, describe FAF to newbie. RTS, strategy, big tanks. Yeah, that's about it, you know. I don't know what else to say. I'm not good with limits to my words. This all I do is talk on this channel, and you want me to explain something in 10 words or less? Ridiculous. I mean, that's just... Oh, no. We got pillars getting caught out. This is the problem. T2 units are a lot like commanders, except much weaker. So if you, you know, if you do get surrounded by T1 land, you're gonna die. Big explosions. Yeah. Use giant robot to print more giant robots. Yeah, that works as well. And suddenly Blackheart is absolutely overrun many positions. The pillars have gotten caught out in groups of 2, and the no PD in these expansions means that, you know, the mantis just run over them. There's not even many Medusa around. None on the bottom side. All of them just in the middle of the map. And now Blackheart heads towards the middle. So he's secured this side with the ACU. ACU in a great position here. I mean, quite vulnerable to air potentially, but overall, he's just taken a huge amount of the map. Killing this expansion is huge. And putting so much pressure in the middle means that it's difficult to get the units out across the map to different positions. This is indeed peak Cybran. Another expansion is about to die. Once again, 1 PD would have defended this expansion from the Mantis. And if you think your opponent is going to spam a lot of Mantis, which you should think that, probably want to be ready and have those defenses ready when you're switching to, you know, a relative, you know, not a exactly quick T2 land, but, you know, it's there's some downtime in your production. Oh, more pillars getting caught by the Mantis. Bombers coming in, but not really hitting their target. A lot of misses here. We got some Mongoose now mixed in as well. Oh, the grenades could be huge in this position. So could bombers, but the bombers are going down. There's anti-air mixed in here, quite a lot of anti-air. So the bombers don't get many more than really one pass. And look at the carnage. 2 expansions, 3rd expansion has to be rebuilt here. ACU looking for somewhere to go to be useful. It has very few kills, and it's also looking very isolated. As the main base is just under attack. This P-Gen is not... Is this finished? It's not finished. This P-Gen is not... Now it's finished. Now that the strategic icon has shown up, it actually is finished. And with that, it's probably gonna die. Yep, there it goes. And Manta's just overrunning pillars in the main base. They're on top of the production of pillars right now. Eventually, the Mantis will be cleaned up. But look at the pressure, and the ACU of Petric is so alone. So alone. T2 Pigeon being lost is a massive issue, and Petric has 8 pillars and 2 bungas. He has no vision. He has no idea what's going on in the middle of the map where most of the Mantis are. This expansion now, totally undefendable, considering he's busy dealing with his main base. The hydrocarbon also goes down now, which hurts given that the T2 Pigeon is dead. And I mean, he's just getting overrun in every position. Attempts to get a PD up. That's not going to work. There's a Mantis ready. Softening up the expansion. And now a worrying amount of grey blips on the radar. Of course, if I go into free cam there, you can't see them. There's some trouble brewing, and that's not jamming, because this is Cybrant. They don't have jamming. Exactly. Maybe he doesn't want vision. T1 beating T2. Cybrant sure is OP. Petric giving out to the balance team. He is obviously in charge of balance. It's a bit of a joke there. And yeah, he needs to build navy. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of water. I wonder if you can fit a naval factory there. Let's see. Oh, you can fit one right there on top of his ACU. That'd be good. I'm sure that would be useful. Oh, wait. Yeah. That's actually the only place you can build one. Blackheart hiding in the water in case there's any kind of... Well, I mean, if a lot of pillars showed up, he would be in danger. And speaking of a lot of stuff showing up, putting you in danger, that's a lot of Mantis heading towards the UEF commander, who seems to be walking on his tippy toes. Don't know why he's doing that. Bit weird. But yeah, that's a lot of Mantis, a lot of Medusa, peekaboo. And he appears to be completely surrounded with no support whatsoever. I'm gonna need more than a couple cans of bug spray. I don't think, and this is just my opinion, he's gonna make it out alive. Blackheart could make Salem's. He could, but he could also just make Mantis. Let's be honest. He could just make Mantis. And some anti-air. A little bit of Medusa in there. And he could win the series 5-2. Could Blackheart return to dominance if he wanted to? I think so. Yeah. Anyone can return to dominance. No. Wrong. Obviously wrong. But T1 beating ACU, so T1 OP, right? Now you're getting it. Blackheart wins 5-2 in this show match. To you know, yeah, but you know, Petric, not his best. Not his best. Why couldn't anyone be the best? Well, you know, simply not the case that everyone's equal. And Blackheart is particularly good at this game. You might have noticed. You might have noticed. Maybe you didn't, I guess, but that's okay. So you can see what the T2 land is doing. It's like over here. Let's fight back. You know, kill some expansions and stuff. But the AC was way too far away. I mean, you know, if the AC was here, he'd probably still be dead. But certainly over in this corner of the map, there's no way to get away from the T1 land. But yeah, I think that was a really fun series. Some nice games. I think it's a good expose of the settings, and maybe there'll be some tournaments using these settings in the future. I would expect there to be, really. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, talking about Blackheart returning to dominance, he was already I mean, even in the last lots, he was in the final of lots 2020, wasn't he? Blackheart was. I'm not misremembering, am I? No. I'm not. So, yeah. 24 reaction start gets slow. Yeah, well, reactions aren't obviously very important in this game anyway. And in most games. Unit count. How many mantis were... Oh, we've... Oh, yeah, we can get to the score screen. By clicking end replay, I believe. So let's see. You want to see how? Well, here we can see the build. Almost 1,000 units built for Blackheart. Only 539 built for Petric. Many more losses for Blackheart as well. But that's what happens when you build a lot of cheaper units. Oh wait. Oh yeah. So now we got built 844 land units versus 338. Losses 568 land units, 250 for Petric. Petric did lose 80 structures compared to only 14. Petric also built way more structures, which is interesting. I'm not sure how he ended up building some. Maybe it's just because of replacing structures from raiding. That actually might be a large part of it. And Blackheart, of course, got many more kills in air because of his anti-air killing bombers and stuff, and overall built up a very healthy lead in mass by the end of it. 11,000 ahead. I mean, well, 10.5. Blackheart played quite well here. Very good series from him, and a nice series overall. So that is it. Thank you all for watching. Go follow Faf Live over here. That's where this was streamed live yesterday with Washian Farms, and there'll be any major tournament really will be casted there most likely, and there will be follow-up show matches as well from, I believe, Tagada and Nexus will be playing a show match between each other, a best of 7 with a regular settings, not a map gen. It'll be a more, maybe a more serious 1v1 series. And yeah, so head on over there, follow, and hit like on your way out if you enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you soon for more FAF. Bye guys.